listening to The Source, an eclectic arrangement of diverse, powerful voices tackling the issues that affect us all. So let's get started with The Source.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. And I'm here with Rita Hill and Paula Peoples.
Good afternoon.
Joanne. Part of the I Am Every Woman team.
That's right.
Yes. And we have, before we put them on, we have Melissa Robbins and the Register of Wills, Tracy Gordon, on the line. We want to, we'll bring them on shortly. Yeah. Today is the day that Black women stand up for Black people in the city of Philadelphia. Today is the day that we tell the world that we're tired of what we see. Today is the day that we do not want any more inertia going on around this whole issue. Today is the day that we don't want to hear about any more process arguments like we just heard. And we want action.
That's right.
We want action. And we're going to demand action. And we're going to take action.
Yep.
Paula, Rita.
Yep, we're going to take action. We're not about just talking. I'm so glad, Joe, you played that theme. I tell you, just setting the tone. I am every woman, because we are every woman in the county of Philadelphia. Yes, we're tired of the processes because our youth, our babies are still dying in the street. And I will refer back to something that the late, great C. Dolores Tucker would say when we would go to Washington. And I still have the T-shirt, we want a seat at the table. We want a seat at the table. That's what we're telling this administration, because we know it can be done better, where people in our community can begin to see a visible change. All that throwing money at community groups is not going to stop gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. We want a seat at the table.
Absolutely. And just piggybacking on what you're saying, Paula, and what you started, Joanne, we are every woman. We are tired and we are how they're dealing with the guns, the violence. We want to change, and we're going to stand up today because we want to be heard, and we demand to be heard. Just like Paula said, we want a seat at the table. We demand a seat at the table, and we have ideas and information to share that will benefit this whole endeavor. It's an unprecedented amount of money that's coming into the city at this time, and we want that money to be used, put to good use, used with our community to stop the gun violence, build youth programs, make workforce development work, provide jobs and training for our community, and stop pointing the finger and saying there's nothing that can be done, because we know that there is much that can be done, and we're ready to do the work.
So we'd like to hear from our guest on the guest line. These are the women who are the steering committee of the march today, and they're joining us, and we'll hear from others throughout this program. Today we're talking about the March of Urgency at City Hall, 6 p.m. today, the Women's March for the State of Urgency in Philadelphia. Melissa.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Joanne and all of the ladies of the Black Women's Leadership Council. Thank you all for hosting this and having myself and Register Gordon on today to talk about what we are up against in our city of Philadelphia. I have to take deep breaths when I think about the slow genocide that's going on in our city. I have to slow myself to process how mothers and daughters and sons are feeling each day when they wake up. You know, what will today bring? You know, who will we lose today? We know that there are no gun manufacturers within close proximity of our city. We know that in our poorest zip codes, it's being flooded with guns and ammunition, but our children can't gain access for the tools and the resources that they need to sustain and thrive. They're being given the things that destroy and and take them to dark places. But somehow or another, it's coincidental that the most aggressive areas that are being gentrified are being ethically cleansed. We're being cleansed and pushed out of the city. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. I could go on, but I know that Registrar Gordon has some information that she wants to. But I thank you all for coming together and organizing so we, the people of the city of Philadelphia, can say no more, because we have a negligent administration that has left a runaway train, and we, Black people, are on that train, and we're crashing, and we're burning, and we're dying.
So we're going to hear more from you, Melissa, this evening.
Oh, yes, I will be there to speak. Thank you, guys. We all have voices to be heard. We love our city. We love serving our community. We're not turning our backs on our community. When our administration fails, we step in because we know how to solve our issues. We know where the deficits are. We know where money is not going. And we know that there are certain people in the city of Philadelphia that make sure that money is deviated and goes elsewhere. As we see people come into our city, they get their money and they go back out and they live their good lives in the suburbs, and they sit and they watch the news and say, those people. But those people are suffering because all of the resources that are intended for us never reach our children, our schools, our homes, our streets. They just don't. And, of course, this is by design, so I don't think I'm telling you guys anything that you don't know. Our society has always been socially and economically designed to generate the outcome that we see each and every day. It is true, America. Black people were never of value to this country except for servitude and as a commodity. And as you see each day, that has continued. We must put a stop to it. We can't look to an administration who benefits to stop our pain and our hurt and our poverty, our generational poverty. We have what it takes to stop it. So I'm going to yield, and I'm definitely going to be there today. And, again, thank you to all of you ladies and all of your listeners, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
We'll see you. We'll see you tonight.
Yes, ma'am. You guys take care.
Thank you. Register of Wills, Tracy Gordon.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to the WURD listening audience. Yes, I am Tracy Gordon, the Register of Wills. But I want to, and I can't separate myself from being a Black woman, a Black mother, a grandmother, a neighbor, a sister, a grandmother, and not feel that I live in fear every time I leave my house and every time my children and my family leaves our houses. The corridors are not safe in Philadelphia. We are at a state of urgency, and this is why I joined in the planning committee, because as the Register of Wills, I have very important information that will be able to assist our community as it goes to being able to thrive and live. This is unhealthy. This is trauma. I should not have to go to sleep every night wondering if I wake up to get that dreaded call, and that was the call that I got from a police officer who serves our city. She called me and said, Miss Gordon, Register, my daughter graduated from an HBCU. She decided to come back to Philadelphia and open up a dance studio for children in South Philly. And I need your help to, allocate funds or whatever. By the time she hung up, she called me back to say that her nephew, who is not a number, Kaylin Johnson, was shot down, ambushed in broad daylight on 59th and Vine, where I grew up, across the street from a daycare, an elementary school, a thriving shopping market. Him and his friends was shot down like was in the wild, wild west. Our corridors are not safe. Our corridors, this young man had just got a driver's license. He had just purchased his car. His mother purchased a car so he wouldn't have to be in the streets and on transportation. And he was going to the YMCA at 52nd Street, and she gets this dreaded call to her only son. This has to stop. We have unsafe communities hurting from poverty, drugs, violence, and then COVID came and hit us. And so we have come and gathered together in urgency, state of emergency, state of urgency, potato. The late Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. She also said that you can pray until you faint, but if you do not get up and do something, God is not going to put it on our lap. It's time for us to get together, get up, make demands, and follow up. This is why you all created the Urgency Facebook page, State of Urgency PHL. I recommend all the listening audience go on those pages, those social media. We will be giving information. This is not just a one and done rally. We are rallying for demands for safety. That is our constitutional right to be able to thrive and be able to wake up and know that our sons and daughters are coming back in the house. And so I have information. I have my staff that will be out there providing information because we have a very serious tangled title problem here in the city of Philadelphia that is
Register. I want you to hold on. We got to go to break. Hold on. You can finish your thought on the other side of the commercial. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. And we'll be right back.
Hope Partnership Middle School offers a quality, subsidized independent school education to students and families in North Philadelphia. Located at 2601 North 11th Street, Hope offers small class sizes, personalized learning, a research-based curriculum, dedicated teachers, and a graduate support program, which supports students through high school graduation. They are currently accepting applications for 5th to 7th grade students for September. For more information, please contact them at info@hope-partnership.org.
Philadelphia residents can stay cool this summer with Parks and Rec. Between public pools and spray grounds, there are over 150 free places to cool down and have fun this summer. Spray grounds are open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. Pool hours vary by location. Visit phila.gov/PPR to find a pool or spray ground near you.
Be there this Friday at the Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour and stand with WURD Radio to amplify voices of the Black community as a digital 4WURD member for as low as $5 per month and receive a free gift for signing up. See you on Friday and join Tiffany Bacon 10 a.m. till noon at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, 740 South 7th Street, or visit WURDradio.com. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio, independent Black media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Here I stand looking around me, while all around me, what do I see? Unhappy faces behind a painted smile, heartache and loneliness, dressed up in modern style. Unhappy people living in sin and shame, reflections of myself. Life is no easy game, and we're caught in the trade wind, the trade winds of our time. I stand looking around me, while all around me, what do I see? Young girls will soon become street walkers in the night. Young boys, the restless breed, looking for a fight. Children, both rich and poor, they're searching for the truth. And if they don't find it, God help tomorrow's you. We're caught in the trade wind.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Wanted that to play a little bit. Wanted the trade winds to play. I think Roberta says it better than we can say it. And she said it almost 30-something years ago.
Yes.
Such a beautiful song. Every time you play it, it just makes you stop. Makes you stop and listen and think.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so sad. I mean, actually got me emotional because what she sings about, we're still dealing with today. Restless youth, young girls on a corner. You know, we have a concentrated area in Philadelphia of drug users, zombies that are basically human zombies in the city of Philadelphia. We have so much to deal with that can actually be managed based on the tax dollars in the private sector that occupies Philadelphia. This has to change. We're in the trade winds. We're in the storm.
We're in the storm.
And we're in the storm. It has to change. We have to bring about this change. And that's why I'm so glad all of the women leaders and those working out on the ground have come together to be the answer to what the administration has proposed. And either they meet us at the table or they deal with the repercussion of our actions in bringing all these women and men together to bring about the change we need.
I'm going to ask the Register of Wills to continue her thought that she had before the break.
Thank you so much. I felt so sad hearing that song.
Yes.
A lot of our families are going through a lot of trauma. They are not just numbers. They are not number 200 and 300. These are actual people. Our sisters are burying their only sons, their only children. We're not remembering these victims have to live with this every day. Where are the resources for them? Resources that we need to go. It has to be grassroots organizations that have a track record. It has to be holistic. Besides the gun violence that we are being plagued with, we also need to address the economic and housing instability, which are the core causes of these problems. And as I was talking to you about the tangled title, the tangled title is when someone in your family died and they had assets such as a house, and that house deed was in their name, and they died and they did not leave a will. And when you don't leave a will, that means your families assume they own the property. And that's not true here in the state of Pennsylvania. You do not own property in a dead person's name. And ironically, I'm going to show you all later on, there is a study that's coming out by the Pew Foundation, Charitable Foundation, who did a study, and they identified where these tangled titles were located. And they're saying loosely between 10,000, but we think is more based on how they got the data. But 10,000 houses that are in dead people's names is a lot of capital, to billions of dollars worth of generational wealth. What I found and what we found was the map that shows where the high increase of gun violence is almost identical to the map that shows where the tangled titles are, or where people believe those houses are in their name and they can't do anything with it. This area is West Philly, Southwest Philly, Germantown, North Philly, and some of South Philly. It has the same semblance of identity where the tangled titles was. And I have statistics that I want to give out to you all to take back to your families, because we have a program to help families get these houses in their name so they can preserve their generational wealth. In the meantime, if you own property here in Philadelphia, the state of Pennsylvania, one of the rules is how to protect your property is you have to make a will. That will be your last word and testament, and that will help your family be able to transfer those assets from the deceased person down to whomever they leave their assets to. That's some other information we have, because homelessness and not being able to purchase homes is almost in Philly because of this very aggressive and intentional gentrification. So our gathering is not just to gather to, another gathering. This information is, this gathering is going to come on all points and give directives on how we can help ourselves, like Fannie Lou Hamer did. She got up and taught people how to help themselves, while at the same time demanding from your elected officials such as me and whoever that we need the resources for our children, and we need it in a different way. And Joanne Bell and the Women's Leadership Council have all that information for you all. I really appreciate you all giving me this time as the Registrar of Wills. We hope to see you all at 6 p.m. tonight in honor, or I just in memory, in the spirit of all the lost victims. We're asking you to wear something red, or bring something red, or bring pictures of your families or whatever. But mainly, we want you all to leave with a charge that we will be detailing later on this evening. Thank you all for the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Our sisters, they do double jobs. They get elected to do the thing that they get elected to do, and they still have to hold up our community.
Yeah.
And we see this. We could not have done this event tonight to bring you out if it wasn't for Sheriff Rochelle Belisle. And I wanted to name some of the women who allowed me to name them. You just heard from
Absolutely.
Register of Wills Tracy Gordon. You're going to hear from Asa Coney. We have Linda Miller. We have Alicia. I'm getting stuck up. I want to be careful because some of the names of the people who participated around the table may not want to publicly have their
True.
names. So, but I feel comfortable with the ones that I just said. Vanessa Brown was active. So we have to do what we have to do.
And we have to do it.
Yes, we must. And what would be interesting to me, Joe and Rita, if what the Register of Wills Tracy just said regarding the Pew Trust report and the work that her staff has done, if we did an overlay with where the shootings are taking place in the city. Because one thing I learned back in the 70s from Milton Street was a idea that was a process that was utilized back then, and he referred to it as triage. Triage is when they allowed crime and there's all kinds of neglect to occur in a given area of the city, so that the long-term residents who have lived there get so frustrated that they began to move out, thereby permitting and allowing the city to gentrify the community. So it would be very interesting if the Register of Wills was able to do an overlay with those zip codes that we know that Councilwoman Jamie Gardier provide to us, where most of the shootings are taking place in the city. That would be very interesting.
That would be interesting, and I bet that it would tell a story. It
Yes.
would paint a picture and tell a story. And we know, you know, traditionally, it's by design. We know the legacy of past administrations in this city and in the country as a whole. When the administration wants to get something done and move Black people in a particular direction, there's a whole conspiracy of people and places and departments and agencies and individuals and collective bodies that come together to put it in action. Okay, so we know that there's something more going on with these guns flooding our community. It's not by accident, just like it wasn't by accident that the drugs flooded our community and decimated our community for years, for decades. We've been trying to bring ourselves back up from that devastation of the drugs. Now we have guns proliferating our community, and we just can't stand for it. We're going to do something different. We know the administration is not doing enough. So as a community, the women are going to come out and say, and we know, and everyone elected knows the force of the Black women's vote.
Yes.
So that they better take a listen today to what we're going to be saying this evening regarding what's going on in our community and what we want to happen with that unprecedented money that's going to come in. So sisters that are listening to this broadcast, put on something red, wear a red scarf, wear a red jacket, wear something red, and come out today and rally with us and stand up and let this administration know that we are not taking it anymore.
We have a caller on the line. We're going to go to Mike. I think it's New Jersey.
Ladies, good afternoon. I've called in the past talking about gentrification. I'm one of those people who buy properties. Some I buy and flip, fix up and flip. Others I will just assign the contract. And what assign the contract means, I will have the homeowner sign off that they're going to sell to me for X price. I turn around, usually probably within a week, 5 to 7 business days, and I assign it to another to a larger construction company or builder who will essentially do the same thing. And I can tell you that if you want to help the community, that is probably one of the number one things right there, is having people stop giving away their generational wealth. I see it all the time. And quite frankly, I don't want to say I take advantage of it, but if it's there, somebody's going to do it. So why shouldn't I benefit my family and myself to do it? And and what the Register of Wills says is exactly correct. I see this quite a bit when I go in to sit down and speak with someone, and mom or dad or whoever it may be, grandma just recently passes, and they think they own a home, and I have to do a title search, and people don't even know what a title is. They think that they think I can just write them a check essentially right there and then, like this is almost like a car transaction, or they're buying a piece of jewelry or whatever it may be, that it's transactional. And buying and selling a home is not transactional. I have to go through a title search to see who actually owns the home, see if there's any liens against the property and things like that. And when I sit down to explain to people what the process is to actually sell the home, I'm quite frankly, I'm amazed that they have virtually no idea. They think it's just, hey, come here, write me a check, and here's the house. And a lot of times we run into tangled titles where, mom, dad, whoever it may be, grandma, owned the home for, many, 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 many years. They thought that they would then automatically get the home. The kids thought that they would automatically get the home, and come to find out that there was none of the kids were put on the title to the home. There was no will, and it just becomes a mess. So I would say that, to really help the community, that would be something I think that is extremely, extremely important, because I see generational wealth being given away all the time, and at a very, very cheap price.
Well, I think that the Register of Wills, Tracy Gordon, would definitely appreciate that comment, because she's fighting very hard to stop that and to train people and to get people to have wills and to understand, because what happens is that the generational wealth is lost and they can't fix these properties up themselves because they don't own it. We appreciate your call. Thank you so much for explaining.
you know, I just wanted to say that, you know, he says he's just so surprised when he comes in someone's home and he sits down to talk to them that they don't even know what a title is and they don't know the process. But these are not people who are involved in real estate. Some of them have never purchased a home. Some of them, someone else did it in the family and they're in the home. So this is not a regular everyday occurrence that people should have education on. It requires educating our community on the process, and that's why what Tracy Gordon is doing is so important. But you can't just come out and say, hey, you know, people should know about this process. People don't know about the process. We need to educate our community, and that's what we're in the process of doing. So thank you for calling and bringing that out. And that's one of the reasons why Tracy Gordon is on her crusade to educate our community on tangled titles and the reasons why and how to get out of it. She has a whole solution on it. So yes, thank you for bringing it to the forefront. But this isn't something every day, like going to the store and purchasing items, you know, for your house, food items for your house. This is a specialized process that not everyone knows about. And that's why education on the process is most important.
And my comment to Mike is this in the same spirit that you expressed about going and acquiring properties and flipping them for to other people that don't look like the current occupants of the house. You can also take a portion of what you do in real estate and say, instead of flipping this house to sell it to another gentrifier or speculator, I'm going to work with this family to see how I can assist them to acquire the property. And you can still put your percentage fee with the sale of the property. So it doesn't always have to benefit you based on your flipping of the house. I heard you when you first came on. So it works both ways, and that's why we are working, attempting to work with the administration around housing, because where will our community go? You can't gentrify us out of the city of Philadelphia, even though we know there's some realtors that actually think they can do that. Some of them occupy city council. But you can't gentrify the Black and brown people of Philadelphia out of the city. So have some compassion, Mike.
Well, we're going to go to, we have another caller. Hold on 1 second, please. Gary from Southwest.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, Gary.
Good afternoon, Gary.
You know, I'm very disturbed. I'm sitting here listening to the previous caller. I'm going to call him White Mike. I mean, he was disturbing to me. But, you know, the people don't have the information and don't actually know what they're delving into or what they're giving away, but you're taking advantage of it. You had a lot of nerve to call on the station. In my opinion, he had a lot of nerve with his arrogance to call into the station and give that false, weak excuse like, well, they don't know, so I'm just going to take advantage of them anyway.
Yeah,
I wish he'd never call a station again. He should never call a station again. And I want to say this.
Gary,
yes?
Before you get work done, I think since we've been on air, I've heard from Mike, if it's the same one, on a variety of different things meant to get us upset, meant to get up under our skin. And so that's why I totally just dismissed it, because I wasn't going to give it the flavor that I think that he wanted. He wants you to do this. He wants you to be upset. And then we get upset, and we're not going to correct any of his thinking. But what we want to do is march forward and make sure that we support and do the things that Tracy Gordon, Register of Wills, wants to do, and we can do ourselves, because they will throw a lot of distractions before us. As we're running along, there'll be a log put out in front of us, and we do that. We get upset. I want us to continue to be upset about losing these men, women, and children on the street to gun violence. That's what I want to get upset. I want to get worked up about that. I want to get worked up, Gary, about the administration who does not seem to think that is enough of a sense of urgency and an emergency to stop everything that they're doing and take care of what this is?
You know, I just wanted to say, I agree with you wholeheartedly, 200%. And when I say I'm upset about him, it's not just him. It's this whole administration we have down at City Hall, and we have a lot of people who look like us. They're not really serving us in the manner that we deserve, and it goes back to our schools, communities, anything you can name. They're not really serving us, and we need to come up with a strategy. We need to get some new faces and new names that are really going to have our benefit at heart and serve us, because the people that we have in office now, they never call in and talk about these issues. They don't want to have this conversation because it's all about them all the time, and they've been in office for a while. And we can go back, let's see, Alan Dime is a real estate developer. So, wow, that says a lot. These people run for office to benefit themselves and their businesses and their colleagues and their business associates. And we need to wake up and smell the coffee and tell them it's time for them to go. And we need other people in it that are really going to serve us, because enough is enough. You know, we've gone through enough, and we're still going through it. Like you said about these guns, and you look at the areas where they are and the drugs, they target us. And it's politicians sit back and do absolutely nothing. I bet you one won't call in now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I thank you so much.
Okay,
We're going to go. We are going to go to break. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We'll be right back.
They're back.
Everyone's ready.
Platinum Shows presents the Dell Music Center Summer Series. Sunday, August 1st, it's Jeffrey Osborne. On the wings of love. Peebo Bryson. I'm so into you. And Regina Bell. Then Sunday, August 15th, it's the Basement Party with Big Daddy Kane. Baby Cool Mo D. EPMD, nice and smooth. The Sugar Hill Gang with the Furious Five featuring Grandmaster Melly Mel and Scorpio, Roxanne Shante, and Tough Crew. Then Sunday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, it's the Party in the Park with the Whispers. Stephanie Mills. And After 7. Tickets available at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. For more information, log on to ppshows.com.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by 3 of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media, for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM, independent black media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
God protect me. I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hung to this grave. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. God protect me. So many thoughts in my head. Will I live or will I end up dead?
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, Northwest, and South Philly. Tiffany Bacon will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Our next stop is South Philly at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, 740 South 17th Street on Friday, August 6th. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at Marian Anderson Recreation Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
So we have Sheriff Rochelle Belisle on the line. Sheriff Belisle?
Good afternoon, ladies. How are y'all?
We're doing good.
How are you, Ron?
So you have been instrumental in working with us and helping us put this march together. And I know that you have a specific role as sheriff, that you have a task. You're participating on a task force for this gun violence, and I think you had a very successful. What can I use the term raid earlier? I think it was late last week where you recovered some guns, and so I'm going to turn. Wanted you to just share a little bit more about that with us.
Yeah, last week, the one thing that we are recognizing in the city that is everybody has to play a part in the gun violence that's going on in our city. And so law enforcement has to play a part too. Though we have a lot of services for those who need help and those that don't want to be in this element where they are out there killing people or they're scared to be killed, those services are fine. But we got an element in our community that want to do what they're doing. And so therefore it's incumbent upon law enforcement to come together to go after those that feel as though this is what they want to do, cause mayhem, shoot up our cities. So we're going for them. So last week was what we call a takedown. We had different agencies that partnered with us. The sheriff's office was the leading agent in this. We had Philadelphia Police, we had Chester, Pennsylvania, Camden, Delaware. We had the FBI, Violent Crime Task Force. We had Narcotics Bureau. We had the state police. We all came together on this initiative, and this is the brainchild of my deputy chief of operations, Vernon Muse. Basically helped coordinate all of this. And we took all the violent warrants that people can give in this city from each of the agencies, and we went out to go get them. And out of that, we got guns. We shut down a drug house that's growing marijuana on the third floor. We got guns that this city keeps fighting for common sense gun legislation, for there's no reason for there to be an AR-15 in somebody's house that can spray up a group of people in a matter of seconds. So we did that because that's the role we play. And so we came together, and that's what came out of it. Last Friday we had a press conference, but this was 4 days that we went out on all these initiatives, and it was a citywide sweep, not just one area.
I think that is great. So you guys plan on doing more?
Well, our warrant unit is basically a 24/7, 7 days a week unit. They go out on the different warrants. We just chose the most violent ones and made it the citywide, but they go out daily, morning, noon, and night, 7 days a week. And yes, we are looking at other initiatives, but see, people don't understand all the nuances about the sheriff's office. That, that's one of the things we do, but we are part of all the a lot of the task force that are around this city and state to deal with the amount of gun violence. If you look at the different task force, they done collected about 3,000 guns already. And so the more we take off the street, we're hoping that reduces crime, but we still got a lot to do. And so, yeah, we're going to keep going on these initiatives. People just not going to know when it's going to happen, but we're going to keep going.
So talk a little bit about tonight's march and why you're participating and supporting it.
I'm participating and supporting this march is because this is urgent. We are in a state of urgency. When people talk about a state of emergency, initially we don't know what that looked like. And if you say that out loud, people think guns and tanks. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a modified state of emergency, meaning that there are grassroots organizations with proven records that are out there on the ground that need to get that support. And what we don't want is for people to continue to take them through this, what they call controlling RFP process, which eliminates them from getting the resources to continue to do the work that they're doing in our communities. Because the RFP process eliminates them, and then they give it to those high-priced salaries that have been getting it for decades, and yet we still don't see any fruits from their labor. So we need to be able to say to our elected officials, we need to concentrate, and we need to make sure that those that are out there doing the work gets those funds. And we are saying to them that women coming together, we're working on that issue, and we will work with them on that issue. But that's what we want, and we're going to speak that loudly tonight.
We tell them, don't make the mamas mad.
That's right. Don't make. You got to look at this. Who got who elected?
Absolutely.
So if you thinking that you can just sideswipe the women of this city, of these communities, then you are for a rude awakening.
Sadly mistaken.
Sadly mistaken and a rude awakening, all at the same time. Look, I urge all the women to be out there. We are in a state of urgency. Our children, our babies, our sons, our fathers, our mothers, our daughters, people are spraying up our city. And so this is urgent. That's why we call it a state of urgency. This is urgent. Call out. All of y'all need to be out here tonight.
And let me just say this: the mayor needs to be out there every night. The mayor needs to be out there every night, because if the mayor took his team and the sheriff and the DA and everybody else and start walking these neighborhoods at night, I think it will show that somebody cares. Yes. If you care, you can't care from the beach. If you care, we're in a state of emergency. Let's all, if you put your hand up, you say you want to be mayor, you put your hand up, you want to be a city council person, then let's take to the streets. I remember when Freddie Gray was killed in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And people were out in the street demonstrating, and it got out of hand. And the late congressman, whose name I can't remember right at the moment, who lived in Baltimore, lived in the community, he came out every night, and he walked the streets with them, and he calmed them down. Yes, right. Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then at a certain hour, he said, "Okay, good night. We'll see you tomorrow night." But they saw him take leadership. Mm-hmm. They saw him take leadership. And what we have in this city right now is a lack of leadership.
Visible leadership.
Yeah, there's no leadership. There's no one saying, "Oh, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do something about it." They're all collectively wringing their hands and sighing and looking, wearing looks of consternation and surprise and worry, but they're not doing anything. They're not talking to anyone.
Linda Miller is on, and she's going to join us. Sheriff, you still there?
I'm still here. Just note that.
Okay.
I raised my hand to walk the streets at night. So let's go.
I know. We see you.
I hear you,
we see you out there.
That's right.
See you out there. What happens is that, but we want the rest of them to raise their hands. Come on, we're in a state of urgency. You need to be out there where you can visibly be seen. They ask, what can you do? There's so much you can do. We don't want to hear another process argument about we passed this in council by X amount of votes and we got a budget and we got a press conference and we're going to get grants out to the street. No,
yes,
it is nauseating.
And it's beyond that, Joanne. It's just beyond that process, that whole process conversation. It's beyond that. It's way beyond that.
And we can visibly see it. And that's why we've come together, as the sheriff has said over and over, in a state of urgency. Because the urgency is the death of our children, the death of our loved ones. We're not going back. So they might as well engage the women, because it's women, the reason that they're in office. So they better, how it goes, you better recognize, because we're here and we're not going backward. We're going forward. We want to save our lives.
Linda Miller?
Yes, I would just like to add.
Hi, Linda.
Miller,
hi, Linda.
How's everybody doing? I just want to echo this state of urgency, and the state of urgency is now. And believe me, all of us, not just me, not just all of the callers on this call right now, all of us need to be doing something to stop the violence. And I will speak not only for myself, but for everyone who is a mother, an aunt, or a sister, a cousin. I've had 2 family members shot within the last year. And I'm sure everybody else has had this. But we can't just sit back and let elected officials hand us stuff of what they plan to do when whatever they're planning to do right now is going to take too long. And it's not going to reach the community. The community is crying for help. We are only trying to do a part to make sure that help gets to the community. We were ready to be out there when Biden was getting elected. We were out there in full force.
Right. Or call a cocktail party. If Biden said today, if he called Philadelphia and invited all of them down to Washington to be at the White House, they'd figure out the logistics. They'd have the buses ready. Girl, I'm going by car, or I'm going by train, or I'm riding with you. And they would be right down there, and they would get the photo ops, and they would be grinning and everything.
Yeah.
I want that same effort.
That same enthusiasm they had at the Constitution Center.
All that we do to get elected officials in office at any given time when violence affects our community. Where is everybody? Why is it, like I agree with Joanna, cocktail party, fundraiser, photo op, everybody's there. But that's not what's helping our community. And this last press conference where they're talking about these RFPs to go in our communities, well, that's fine. It's fine if that money gets to our communities. It's fine if that money is there to address the community organizations that are on the ground trying to get the job done. I think we need to step up. We need to be there tonight. We need to wear red, and we definitely need to wear our masks. But we need to speak up. Wake up. I know that all of us on the call know that, but it's going to take more than one press conference. It's going to take more than one rally. It's got to be the community, and when you're in your community, you need to do your job as well.
Yeah.
Stay on the line. Stay on the line. We have to take a break. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We'll be right back.
Philadelphia families, PHL Pre-K, the city's free quality pre-K program, is growing and now enrolling. Over 160 pre-K centers are ready to serve children this year. There are no income limits for this free pre-K program. Children who are 3 or 4 years old as of September 1 can enroll. Call 844-PHL-PRE-K or visit phlprek.org to learn more and find a quality pre-K center. That's 844-745-7735. This program is made possible by the Philadelphia Beverage Tax.
WURD Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey. Brought to you by Comcast.
You might be enjoying the hot days of summer, but your smartphone probably isn't. Hotter temperatures can potentially damage your phone, so here are some things you can do to keep it cool. Don't leave your phone in direct sunlight or locked in a car if possible. And if you don't absolutely need it, ditch the smartphone case too. That can easily trap heat. Change the settings to lower the brightness, turn off data, put your phone in airplane mode, or try to do less high-powered activities like gaming. If you do notice your smartphone overheating, turn it off and take out the battery if you can. And don't try to cool it down by putting it in a refrigerator or freezer. Just keep your phone in a cool area for a while until it returns to room temperature. Stay cool, stay tuned to WURD for more tips, and stay connected with us at WURDradio.com.
Save the date. Thursday, August 26th for WURD Radio's annual Founders Day celebration, honoring the life of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. This year, we'll be both in person and virtual. Stay tuned to WURD Radio and WURDradio.com for more information. That's Thursday, August 26th for our annual Founders Day celebration. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter. But I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
The women of Philadelphia will rise up tonight at the state of urgency is now. Women of Philadelphia will gather to attend a march and a rally Wednesday, today, August 4th, 6 p.m., north side of City Hall, to raise our voices to express our collective outrage regarding the epidemic of gun violence, shootings, and killings in our city, and to talk about the callous inaction of the indecision of decision makers as the blood runs of our children run through the city. We're rising up. We're in a state of urgency. Join us tonight, 6 p.m. Wear red. We encourage you to wear a mask as well. Let the city know that we're not sleeping, that we want something done.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Profound, sis.
It's sometimes you know when you had enough. And we just can't continue to sit by and hear these lame excuses. I think it was you, Rita, or I don't know if it was Linda or Sheriff Belial, but we talked about these grants. I want to get into that for a minute. Because I wanted to say that if you were very, very ill and you were in the hospital and the doctor came in your room and you needed surgery and he said to you, you needed it urgently. He says, but first I got to go out here and study these manuals.
No.
Before I can help you.
Right. That's the RFP process.
Yeah.
The stuff that's happening. We're in August. City Council passed the budget in June.
Yes.
And the mayor announced that the applications for the grants are going to be rolling out, the 10th. In the meantime, how many people got killed between that time? How many people were shot at?
Too many.
And we had a whole summer with no programming, no emergency program, kids out on the street. But that's what we say. It's a state of urgency. What happened in the month of July? What's happening right now? And then I know that it's well-intentioned, but we heard about a wonderful concert we had.
Yes.
When all of our kids, they barely had jobs.
That's right.
They had no real organized recreation. Had that money hit the street, they probably would have had something, because the people who are trying to hold it together with a Band-Aid on the streets could have used that money. And if the mayor had done a state of emergency, he would not have to wait for the RFP process. So some city bureaucrat, or whatever, sits and rolls over this and marks it with their little red pen. You are entitled. Oh, you missed this. We don't need that, and we don't want it.
That's right, and we're not going to settle for that anymore. And if they would bring us to the table, we would show them how it is done. Yes, I agree with you, Joe. The concerts, Lil Durk and the other one that the lady Erica mentioned, was greatly intended. Their intentions were great, but that's what we call in the movement one and done. What's next? What's next in relationship to saving lives, saving our youth lives? They talk about how many of the pools in the Black community, in the brown community, are now open.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been modified. They didn't get enough lifeguards. I bet you if we had increased the amount of money they were paying the lifeguards, we would have gotten them to come back in our neighborhoods. And in some of the neighborhoods where you had your regular lifeguards, they were taken and put in other neighborhoods, thereby allowing our pools, our community programs and activity to be non-existent this summer. Shame. After last year when everything was closed down as a result of the pandemic, as a big metropolitan city, we should have been ready. But we need to be at the table to make certain that happens. State of urgency, and they need to urgently respond, and they're not doing that at this point.
No, and that's why all the women in Philadelphia that are listening to this broadcast need to come out to City Hall tonight at 6 p.m. and join us and let us rise up together.
No, we need the brothers too. The brothers should show up here.
The brothers can show up too, because we need our brothers too. We need everyone to show up tonight, to rise up together, to show a sign of solidarity. We asked for the money for the pools. We asked for them to put money into the youth summer programs. We asked them. We knew money was coming down the pike. We knew new money was coming. We knew pandemic money. We knew Biden money was coming into the state. We knew it, and we asked for them week in and week out to fund the recreation centers, fund the recreation programs, put money into the summer youth programs, give them jobs. What happened?
Deaf ears. It fell on deaf ears. That we asked for 25,000 summer youth jobs, they gave us 8.
They act like we have time to waste and that this is a luxury, that we're in some luxurious time, and it's not. It's a state of urgency, okay? People are dying. Children, babies, 1-year-old babies are dying. We have got to get a hold of this and do something about it. And we are tonight.
Hold on.
I agree.
Linda?
I mean, we all need to be there tonight at 6 o'clock to show our strength. But what's more important, this is August. Killing's been going on for over a year. So to suddenly decide that there's going to be a quote-unquote, what do they call it, Joanna, a task force? Whatever they called it to funnel the money, our elected officials knew this stuff was going to blow up in the summer even more.
Yes.
We knew that. So we have to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And believe me, it's not just other people. It's all of us that have to take part in this. State of urgency when it was declared for opioids, everybody was stepping up. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked like that was happening in other communities more than in our community. And if we don't speak up for our community, no one else will.
And that we have to have a continued voice. You know, Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson had put together something that asking for a state of emergency. She has really been working very hard at this. And one of the things that she would say when you ask her is that the state of emergency would have allowed the mayor to put the money quickly on the street rather than go through all of these processes. And I'm going to read a quote from the Councilwoman Gauthier. She said, "My call for an emergency response to the city's gun violence crisis has never been about semantics. This has always been about action. The citizens of Philadelphia and all of us who stand together today deserve to know what exactly is being done to bring peace and calm back to our streets."
That's right. She's right.
That's true. She's absolutely right.
That's right.
And that's why we rise up. And that's why we have to rise up. We can't no longer be silent.
And it can't just be tonight. It has to be continual until the problem is addressed. It can't be one and done. It has to be continuous. And we have to make sure that we have the support of our elected officials, of the mayor's office, to make sure that money, where necessary, police presence, where necessary, is done to make sure that our community is safe to walk to the store.
Absolutely true.
That seems like a small request. And that's not happening.
That we can't even walk to the store. I want everybody to stay on. We have a couple of calls coming in. I want to take Bonita from Mount Airy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Bonita.
Hi, Bonita.
I hear echo. Are you hearing me okay?
I hear you.
We can hear you.
I'm just calling to say thank you, ladies, so much for taking this on. You're saying so many things that I've been thinking about for a long period of time, such as there's no leadership in the city of Philadelphia, and everybody seems to be sitting on their hands and just talking about what could be done but not doing anything at all. So I appreciate so much you're taking this on. And my question to you, if you are a senior citizen or anybody who may not be able to attend but want to participate, do you have a list or perhaps a telephone number or an address maybe you can send in a person, such as myself, may be able to send in a contribution or something to help with expenses, or maybe to volunteer, such as one of your contributors said, this can't be one and done. It has to be continuous. So you may need a team of people to help get the word out, to give out flyers or call people or do things such as that. So that's my purpose for my call, is to see that if there are people who cannot attend but want to help, how can they help?
So we have a website. I think, Paula, do you have the information? We have a website, and so we should be giving that out.
I have the website, but she also said a phone number, Joe. The website is stateofurgencyphilly@gmail.com. That's state of URGENCY Philly PHILLY@gmail.com. And if you need to speak with us by phone, we do have a temporary number that we're utilizing right now, and that's the NAN office. You can call 215-769-1513. 215-769-1513. Leave us your name, your address, and phone number so we can follow up with you. We're so glad you called us, Benita. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you so much.
I appreciate that information, and perhaps there's a lot of, as you indicated, grassroots groups, of which I participate in a couple, that if we could get the word out to those groups also, that it would be, perhaps we can gather more ladies to participate.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I think it is just so important, and I'm just happy that you're taking this on, and I just hope that the turnout is great and it continues to grow, that the people who are sitting on their hands who are doing nothing will feel that this is important, this is urgent, and somebody better start doing something. So thanks so very much. I have the telephone number. I'm going to make contact, and I appreciate it so much.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We'll be right back.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you complete a job, you feel so much better. You'll sleep better. You'll feel satisfied. You may even cook a fancy meal and share it with a neighbor when you complete a job. You will rest better and breathe. Breathe, everybody. Let me hear you breathe. Whew, breathe again. Breathe again. It's very important to breathe. Ooh, say, you have completed a job. Well, after the job is completed, it's time to dance. It's time to tap your feet. And you're going to listen to something called Shake, Rattle, and Roll by Joe Turner. Here it comes.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Well, you won't do right. Save your doggone soul.
As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where you can get barrier-free COVID-19 testing and vaccination this week. Tuesday, August 3rd and Thursday, August 5th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at Deliverance Evangelistic Church, 2001 West Lehigh Avenue in Philadelphia. For more information, visit blackdoctorsconsortium.com. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Be there this Friday at the Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour and stand with WURD Radio to amplify voices of the Black community as a digital forward member for as low as $5 per month. And receive a free gift for signing up. See you on Friday and join Tiffany Bacon, 10 a.m. till noon at the Marian Anderson Recreation Center, 740 South 7th Street, or visit WURDradio.com. Start or renew your forward membership today. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Jagged jigsaw pieces tossed about the room. I saw my grandma sweeping with her old straw broom. But she didn't know what she was doing. She could hardly understand.
pieces of a man.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We still, I think, have the sheriff and Linda on. We're going to take one more call. Justice from North Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, ladies, Women Leadership Council.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. I like the idea of the rally tonight, and thanks for the invitation for men to show up and stand with the women for this crisis and state of emergency that we're dealing with. So I'll be out there supporting our women. And so,
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to know if this is a good idea, because you were talking about not having any programs for the children for the summer, or just at all, and there's funds or there's money available to at least consider hiring children to clean up the neighborhoods, pick up the trash on the ground, and sweep, and because there's tons of trash everywhere and no one's cleaning it up. So I think if you hire the children, maybe from 10 years old and older, that they will have some motivation that they'll be getting a paycheck for doing a task that's going to give them, something in their pocket. And that will keep them out of trouble as well and guide them to having an understanding of, working and, at a young age to how it's done as you become an adult. So I think if you can start just giving children things to do, then that'll take them away from wanting to fight with each other and call each other names all day. And another problem is the music. Almost every song talks about killing somebody in the song. So if we can address that, because they listen to that music all day, and that fuels them when they hear somebody say kill somebody or some kind of way, that goes into them, and it makes them feel that kind of have an attitude of wanting to hurt someone. So I think the music really plays a huge part in the children, on how they interact and how they have no real love for themselves and each other. When the music of the past, it had that, and it taught us to have love for ourselves and each other. So today, that's not happening. That's my comments for today, my ladies there, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate. I think you have some good ideas. Those are good ideas, but they can be put into action if the grants were put into action quicker, and if it wasn't going through all of these processes. Do we still have Sheriff Bilal with us?
Joe.
Yeah.
Before you go to Sheriff, I just wanted to respond to what the brother said, that I want him to know that we thank him for coming out this evening, but that's a part of what we're proposing, that our youth have year-round programs, that there is an integration of getting our young people to work under the direction of programs like CLIP. That's an established program with the city of Philadelphia. And that, yes, we agree with him. When we're talking about giving paychecks to our youth, and they work in 5 days a week, we want them to work 4 days a week. And on that fifth day, we have them in a class to teach them how to do money management, set up a checking account, and be able to grow and nurture them as young adults, responsible adults in our community. So those are some of the ideas that we're proposing. Also, we got a call from the brothers of House of Umoja. They're going to be out there this evening, as they said, protecting the sisters. So we thank the House of Umoja.
So appreciate that. Sheriff, are you still there? Linda, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we're going to thank you, because we're going to pull in some other people, and we'll see you tonight. Are you ready to give us that rousing speech?
Absolutely. Ladies
Yay.
and gentlemen, state of emergency is now.
Yes.
We want all of you to gather to attend the march and rally tonight, 6 o'clock, north side of City Hall. Wear red if you have it, but come anyhow if you don't. And we ask you also to wear your mask. Again, state of urgency, folks. We want you there, and no reason not to be, because this affects all of us. All of us.
We'll see you tonight, Linda. Thank you.
Yes.
You know, it always takes the women, and you're always there. So we'll see you tonight.
Absolutely.
See you tonight.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
So, you know, I think that what has been said is very important. And I also want to say that we have this map that says that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 zip codes where most of these murders are taking place. 19140, 112 victims.
Wow.
19134, 120 victims. 19132, 197 victims.
That's a lot concentrated in just a few zip codes. You know, when the other caller called and talked about the music and how it affects the youth, that's something that we always need to talk about and acknowledge. Not only do our youth in this city face an education system that has failed them and failed to educate them, but they also are dealing with the trauma of living in poverty, living in areas where there are vacant houses and there's blight and there's trash thrown around and there's not enough jobs or opportunities for their parents or their uncles and aunts and cousins to go get meaningful jobs to take care of them and their siblings or other family members. They deal with that every day. So there's a feeling of hopelessness. The administration has got to acknowledge that what they're doing isn't changing any lives. It's not changing the lives of the youth. It's not changing the lives of the community. And there's got to be something different done.
Yes.
The music, you know, it's in the music. That messaging that's in the music is violent. It's concentrated violence. And then they turn off the radio and then they have to go back into this trauma of poverty they live every day.
That's right.
So I want to go back to the zip codes, and then it says that much of the violence in our city is concentrated in 14 zip codes: 19144, 19141, 19120, 19124, 19140, 19134, 19133, 19132, 19121, 19131, 19104, 19139, and 19143. And all of this disproportionately impacts Black and brown residents.
Yes.
It has to be acknowledged. There has to be an acknowledgement that what they're doing also has not worked. Has not worked.
And that's why there's a rise up. That's why we're rising. We have no choice. Listen to all those people that represents bodies, people that have died, young people that have died. And Joe, that's just the killings. You haven't even given the number of the shootings.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
They're in 1,000. It's 1,000 of them in the city of Philadelphia, people that have been shot, maimed. That can't be dismissive.
That's true.
Very serious.
And on the
That
map
is
that
true.
the map that they supplied from 2016 to 2020, Philadelphia is now surpassed San Diego, New York, Los Angeles, San Antonio, Phoenix, Houston, Dallas, even Chicago.
Even Chicago.
Chicago?
For homicides per 100,000 residents.
Yes. Wow. Wow. And then the decision makers get mad when people refer to our city as Philadelphia. There it is. You've revealed it.
And just like you said, Paula, these statistics represent members of our community. Okay? They're not random. We're all affected. We know someone who's been affected by the gun violence, or we know someone who has died from the gun violence. We hear it all the time. It's affecting us, young and old. These are young people that had their whole lives ahead of them. Potential, okay, untapped potential. One of those young people could have found the cure for cancer.
Yes.
Or could have, or could have patented some new invention that changed the world. But their potential is being snuffed out because they're not valued. They're not valued in the city. Our young Black and brown children are not valued by this system and the administration. Otherwise, there will be so many things in place to occupy their time, to develop them, to place them into opportunities that will help them grow and reach their potential. But there's none of that available for the youth, the Black and brown youth in our city. None of that.
We have another caller on the line, a part of our team for tonight, Aisha Coney.
Hey, yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hey, sis.
Good afternoon, Asia.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, our sister warrior.
Yes.
How's everyone? Ready for tonight?
We're ready for tonight. So we want to hear your. We want to hear your voice. We want you to tell the listening audience why we're doing this and why they should be out there with us tonight.
Well, let me first start off by thanking both of the sisters, being Joanne and Paula, because they are the individuals. Paula actually reached out to me, as my sister often does, to ask me to join them, in this endeavor. And Paula and I have a long history, so if she's involved in something, chances are I'm going to get involved somehow, some way. So I first want to thank you, sisters, because clearly, like so many other sisters, every time you turn on the TV or pick up a paper or talk to someone in the community, all you hear about is one of our folks being murdered, being shot, being, mangled or whatever. And like everyone else, it just hits me deep in the pit of my soul. Yes. So when Paula called me and told me that some sisters were getting together to address and to bring other sisters together, my first question to her was who? And she started naming some dynamic soldiers and sisters who have been involved in this fight for our rights for a while. So, of course, I was in. So I want to thank them for even making and taking the step to bring women together to address this, because we all know when sisters get together, things get done.
Come on now.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, I love our brothers. We have always supported them, but sisters get it done. These are our babies. We have blood running in the streets. It is a bloodlet. And the only word that comes to mind that I use continuously is genocide.
That's what it is.
Youth group,
That's what it is.
Look, I have a youth group, and I say to them continuously when we discuss what's going on in the world, and I say to them, do you realize that if we keep losing you, there is no future for our race?
And there
That's
is
right.
no denying that. So when, as I said, Paula reached out to me, I was like, I'm all in. And clearly, for anybody that knows the seriousness or feels the seriousness of what we're trying to do, we're asking them to come out. We need to take a stand. The elected officials can't do it. You know, some of the groups that are out there with boots on the ground can't do it. And when I say can't do it, I mean can't do it alone.
Right.
We know that the city administration, they do what they do, but we've got to push the envelope. We've got to be the ones to hold them accountable. And my whole piece with this, as I've said to the sisters, is it starts with us. We got to hold ourselves accountable. So my message tonight is, you know, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
And that is the fact that we're harboring these folks. We've got to make sure that we are about the business of cleaning up our own community and setting a standard and making sure that folks that are doing the community harm have no place to go. And we need to identify resources.
Yes.
Because this whole piece falls in all kind of categories. We got individuals that are afraid of their children. You know, afraid of them. I don't know what that's about because I raised 2 healthy sons. And my thing with them was like my parents told me, I brought you in, you go crazy.
And I'll take you out.
You know what the other part of that is. And the Creator blessed them until I lost them, that they were respectful. Because they knew I said what I meant and I meant what I said. So only thing I want to say to the sisters that are listening, y'all, we got to be the ones. We got to get up off of our hinds. We got to stop talking. We got to start having discussions. We got to put aside our differences. And the sisters that want to work, because let's face it, we like everybody else. We got, you know, as we talk about elected officials, as I do, we got good ones, we got not some good ones, and we got ones that talk and do nothing. And we have the same thing with us as sisters. So I'm putting the call out to sisters who want to do something about the bloodletting, the genocide that we are experiencing, to join us, not just for the night, but to have those discussions and identify solutions and to monitor what's being proposed. You know, there are all kind of plans. We've looked at several of them in our meetings. You know, Kathy, Jamie, the mayors, we've looked at those in this group. And none of the things that have been proposed are going to work at all unless we're involved in it, unless we identify the groups that have boots on the ground in our community. Because the other thing that Paula has often said is that when we rise up, they throw money at our community, but however, it doesn't get to the right people. So I want to say to the sisters that are listening, the sisters that I represent, join us and hold us accountable and make sure that your voice is heard. Let's have some forums. Let's make sure we monitor what's going on. Let's make sure we come together, because it's got to be a many-pronged approach. This is no one and done. You know, this is not no one person or one idea. We got to throw everything we have at this situation, and eventually we're going to overcome this stuff. We got to. We don't have no choice.
That's right.
We have no choice. So again, I want to thank you, sisters, because we all work in our own areas, for pulling us together, and the other sisters that have worked with us on these calls, have put up with them 3-4 hour calls. Lord, I'm going to say it again, them 3-4 hour calls. And of course, the many debates that have occurred, because nobody rubber stamps nothing. But it's time to do the damn work.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And we're going to continue to give you some stats on this. It's the number of children killed or hurt by guns has risen dramatically in 2020 and 2021. Last year, 171 children were shot. 25 of them were killed. Since January 2021, 21 children have been killed and 87 were shot.
Wow.
This already exceeds the annual total of juvenile shooting deaths in the years of 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an annual total of non-fatal juvenile shootings in 2015 and 2016. This is what's happening in our city.
And
that's
the
the
other thing about that
genocide.
clearly, y'all, is that's the other thing. Where are these guns coming from? We don't have no boats and planes and own no trains and none of that bringing that stuff in. Where are they coming from? That is something that the ATF or the Department of Justice or some entity needs to be looking at, because if we can get control, we're collecting guns and folks are turning in guns, but it seems to me they turn in 20 more show up. So if maybe let's start producing bullets. I don't know, but we definitely got to figure out who's bringing these guns in and having them held accountable.
That's a part of our charge. That's a part of the charge beyond tonight's march and rally. That's the work. That's why we want to employ all our sisters to be part of this rising up. Everybody has a role.
So see. We'll see you tonight.
Oh, you know it. I'm gonna be there bright and early, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
See you then, sister.
Much love.
Thank you so much. And I think it's time. I think I'm getting that call. We got to go to break. You're listening to Black Women. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We'll be right back.
I heard the COVID-19 vaccine
And the thing I heard about the vaccine...
Sure, but do we really know about the long-term effects?
Did you read that thing on the internet?
He heard from his cousin that they don't...
Okay, you're hearing a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines these days. So how do you find out if getting vaccinated is right for you? By talking to someone you already trust, your doctor or healthcare provider. They'll answer your questions so you can decide what's best for you and your family. Go to getvaccineanswers.org to find out more. That's getvaccineanswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon, and I'll broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next stop is South Philly at the Marian Anderson Rec Center, 740 South 17th Street on Friday, August 6th. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at the Marian Anderson Rec Center from 10 a.m. until 12 noon on Friday, August 6th. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
this war end, inshallah, he knelt to pray when a dusty troop misjudged and blew him away.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Streaming live on WURDradio.com. And Rita?
Stand with WURD, the only Black-owned talk radio station in Pennsylvania. Did you know that you can join the forward movement and amplify voices of the Black community as a digital member for as low as $5 per month? Visit wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. We need you. Show your support. Join or renew your forward membership today.
And we're going to take a call from Hariah in Ardmore.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Hey,
Hariah.
Sister Mariah.
Good afternoon, Paula. It's so nice to hear your voice.
Yours too.
Anyway, my queen sisters, the sister that just got off, she was right on the money. You know, she said, no future. And, you know, we have to realize this is our granddaughters, our daughters that will not be able to have any husbands. You know, this is the men folk in our family when we have family gatherings, and then it's just only us women there because our men folk are getting killed out there in the street, you know.
That's right.
So basically, you know, what you are doing, and I really applaud you because you run 100% on the money. When mama gets up and puts her foot down, then things start to happen. And the number one focus that I see is we have got to find a way to get to some of these young mothers. You know, I have seen them firsthand. Got the baby in the back seat, this violent music blasting in the baby's ear. Baby ain't even had time to learn how to say A, B, C, D, E. Or you got some little young thug in the house that's teaching the child how to pick up a gun or whatever. These are some of the many things that our young mothers don't realize what they're doing. And we have got to find a way to get to them, to show them. You got to know that child's friends from a young age, 6 and 7 years old. You got to know who his friends are, and then you can't just send your little young men out. Go here, go there. You got to orchestrate, take them, or hire one of the uncles in the family. Here, take him and his friends to the movies for me. Or hire one of the little young kids in the neighborhood that's doing good in school. I want you to take these 5 kids and take them to the festival over there or whatever. You know, but this is what these young mothers has got to learn, you know, to be able to raise and keep an eye on the young men as they're growing up, to give them a chance, and then we got to have activities. I hope that once we women get out there, we call upon every church, mosque, or whatever to open their doors to have activities, so that they keep these boys occupied, keep them busy. You know, as we groom them, you know, and see, that's where our men folk are in the church and in the mosque and whatnot, you know, because we do need the men folk. You know, I know this firsthand as a mother, and then maybe we can also have a hotline. So a mother that's in trouble, a young guy acting out in the home, he's throwing the furnace, breaking the lamp, this, that, and the other. She can have a hotline. 2 or 3 of us can go over there, you know, and just calm him down or give her support. But these are some of the things that I'm thinking, I'm seeing. I'm sitting here in Ardmore, and we just had 2 weeks ago a shooting around the corner at the playground, and a young man got shot in his face.
Oh.
And Ardmore was turned upside down because they weren't used to having anything like this happening. But a lot of the kids inside the city live this every day, like you said. They live in a state of trauma, in a state of shock. You know.
Yes.
But to be 19 years old, I asked, where could you get so much anger from that you would have that much viciousness inside of you? And then when you talk about the guns, there's no black gun manufacturers. Let's be real. It might be 1, 2 within the whole United States, maybe 3 or 4. Okay? Now they talking about they making the guns with no serial number. And that's legal. You know that's legal. But then it's not legal for them to sell it. It's legal for them to manufacture. But I know that 10 to 1, it's not our kids that are manufacturing these guns. I don't know how they do it on the computer or whatever, but somebody is manufacturing them and then selling them into our community. And lastly, I just want to say, you know, everybody and their mother see me out there with my little youth group selling out flowers and whatnot. And when I went to talk to Rendell, that's how far back I go. And I was telling him I needed support, you know, and he's sitting there telling me, do they have license? I'm like, in my mind, if you're not out there asking that drug dealer on the corner if he got a license, don't come at me when I try to get a group of kids and show them how to do something productive and something positive and pick up a legal product to make a little nickel and a little dime if they got a license. You so much worried about that. Worry about getting me some funds so I can teach these kids correctly how to be entrepreneurs. It builds hope in them. It builds pride in them, and it keeps them busy. But that's my little 2, 3, 4 cents for today.
Those are great 2, 3, and 4 cents. It is great. It's right on the money. When we try to do things that will help you, then we get caught up in the systems problem, and that's what we talk about, the process. Here's this money that they say that they've allocated, but then it's caught up in all of this red tape and process and all of this other stuff. And then even when they approve it and select a group, they'll take so long to get the money to the people to get paid. These people can't work without any pay. And so it's all of this process, and that is why we have said and support Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson and Councilwoman Jamie Gauthier. We want to have a state of emergency for the purposes of waiving all of that stuff and getting the resources where they need to go quickly. The crisis has created an unacceptable condition for the predominantly black and brown residents and communities with the highest rates of fatal and non-fatal shooting. Shootings plague recreation centers, family gatherings, businesses, residential streets. Residents do not feel safe leaving their homes, and the trauma created by this ongoing crisis impacts the ability of our residents to live safe, healthy, happy, productive lives. We're tired. We are tired.
We are prisoners in our own home, Joe and Rita, prisoners in our own home by no direct decision of our own. The elders don't want to come out. When we talk to Sister Asia, who represents the largest number of female heads of household in public housing, she talked to them and they said they are fearful. There's a great sense of a gray cloud of hopelessness that overrides the city of Philadelphia. We are tired.
We're going to go to Elias, and then we're bringing the Register of Wills back because there have been calls and also Facebook wanting to know how to reach her office. And so we're going to do that. But we're going to first go to Elias.
Good afternoon, ladies. God bless you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Elias.
All right. Hey, real quick, I sound like a broken record, and I'm going to keep doing it because, you know, it's truth be spoken. We need to. Where is like Meek Mill, Jay-Z, these guys that promote guns, promote in their music guns, degrading our women, glorifying drugs. I mean, why no one gives them a call and have them be with us in the forefront and fighting crime and announcing and denouncing, them denouncing in our youth, because our youth listens to them. You know, it's a big impact in music, makes a big impact, okay? So we're talking about guns, but yet we have our people, and this is Latino. I mean, Latino rap music is deadly itself too. You guys, I understand Spanish too. I'm Black Latino, so I have the ability to understand both sides of the music, and they're both the same, deplorable. So we need somebody to call out like these millionaire rappers, okay, to come with us and put some wisdom and some truth in the ears of our young people by making commercials to stay in school, respect education, stay away from drug dealing, stay away from guns, respect your community, keep your, et cetera,
Yes.
But that's not going to happen, Just like we have, just like another thing that I talk about, how other people are preying our communities, these bodega stores, these beer delis, and these poor legislations and bills, and trying to control what they're not controlling anything. They're perpetuating and enabling drug addiction in our communities. That's all I got to say, ladies. Until we attack these folks too, we're going to continue this. But I'm hoping and praying that we overcome. Thank you.
Elias, if I might, Joe, right quick, I just want to tell Elias that is a part of our strategic planning to incorporate the private sector. So when you talk about Meek Mills and the hip hop industry, that's the private sector. We're not leaving any stone unturned to try to bring about full transformation within our communities.
Yeah, because they have a tremendous amount of influence.
Yes.
So we're going to go right quickly back to the Register of Wills because we're running up against the clock in time. Register of Wills, Gordon.
Yes, and I've been listening as I'm working, and the one thing it was so refreshing to hear these young men call and say, "This music, we need to address this music too." And this is the reason why we came together to hold this affair, so we can not only that kind of information should go on our social media site so we can follow up, and we're going to follow up with these young men who've given us this information. Sister Haraya, I respect you so much. I respect you so much. You were one of the ones early on that I used to listen to and used to encourage everybody in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship amongst our kids. Our kids, since they've been home in the pandemic, I've seen some young women and men create a lot of wealth for themselves. I see a friend of mine, she sells dips. They're getting trucks, and selling food. So there's a lot of our children out there that are doing entrepreneurship programs, and that's why we're saying that we need the money. So on the grassroots, we can get that money to energize them so they can be self-sustaining. I just really want, I can't wait once Paula summarizes the night and give the action points, because we're going to have, plan of action for the community to execute, and then we're going to just continue planning and building upon protecting our neighborhoods. And when the women are not safe in the neighborhood, the community is unhealthy. So tonight at 6 o'clock, I'll have a very important literature that I need you to take and give to the communities, put up on your Facebook and social media pages, let people know about this state of urgency, PHL. That's the hashtag. And to call me at my office for any of the programs that I talked about as far as helping you save your home and get those deeds in your name, you can reach me. Our office at the Register of Wills, City Hall, room 180. We're open appointment only, and the phone number there is 686-682-50. And we are on all social medias, and our hashtag for the Register of Wills is hashtag PHLROW. We're on every social media site to get you all this information. We also share flyers of other organizations. We share flyers from the Sheriff Department. We share flyers from the Water Department. We share flyers from the Record of Deeds, which is a totally different office. And we will assist you when you call us. We will try to get you to the office that you need to help you remain in your home. So I'd like to thank you all, for all the sisters that I worked with this past week. And see you all tonight.
See you tonight.
See you tonight,
Tracy.
So, Rita, you want to give that information out from our flyer again?
Sure.
Do it. So Jordan says we'll break. We'll come right back, and we'll do the flyer. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. We'll be right back.
Build skills needed for employment through the Philadelphia Skills Forward Initiative, a free upskilling program for workers displaced by the pandemic, those whose jobs are at risk for automation, and Black and brown workers. Complete courses focused on digital literacy, career management, and professional skills for a successful career. Get started today at chamberphl.com.
Comcast is proud to support Team USA and share the incredible stories of dedication and determination on our athletes' path to greatness. Their achievements are an inspiration to the next generation and fuel the team of tomorrow. Those we help inspire and prepare today are the team that will build us a better tomorrow. That's why Comcast has spent a decade addressing digital inequities. Over the next 10 years, Comcast will invest $1 billion to help more people succeed in a digital world. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com/Olympics.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
There is a woman in Somalia scraping for pearls on the roadside. There's a force stronger than nature, keeps her will alive. This is how she's dying. She's dying to survive. Don't know what she's made of. I would like to be that brave. She cries to the heaven above. There is a stone in my heart. She lives a life she didn't choose.
So we're back. We are going to rally tonight on behalf of our men, women, and children, our families. We're going to rally because we need change in this city. Where are we going, Rita? Read that flyer.
The state of urgency is now. Women of Philadelphia will gather to attend the march and rally on this day, Wednesday, August 4th, 2021 at 6 p.m. on the north side of City Hall to raise our voices, to express our collective outrage regarding the epidemic of gun violence, shootings, killings in our city, the callous, inaction of the decision makers as the blood of our children, our loved ones, and community continues to flow in the streets of Philadelphia daily is an outrage. We are in a state of urgency. Join us. Please wear the color red. Mask wearing is encouraged. Go to stateofurgencyphilly@gmail.com. Join the conversation. Use hashtag stateofurgencyphilly. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
So, Paula, tell them why we're doing this.
Why we're doing this, because we are outraged. We are tired. We're tired of processes that don't yield any results in our community. And so we're going to stand up as a united community to say no more to the decision makers, that we have to be at the table. If you listen today, we had a whole bunch of different, not only women, but people from our community that called with great ideas about how we could begin to resolve this epidemic in our community. We're tired of our youth dying on the street. I know, Joe, you said something about the statistics from 2016 to 2020, not even dealing with 2021. You gave us those high numbers. I lost 2 nephews during that period of time, killed. Wasn't involved in drug selling or anything. They was just trying to be entrepreneurs, and they were killed. We have to stop this, and that's why we're gathering. That's why we want the women to come out tonight, because we're going to give you your charge. We're going to tell you what we need to do after the rally and march tonight to make certain that our voices continue to be heard, to make certain that our community community-based organization are not put out the process based on traditional methods, to make certain that Mayor Kenny hears he must declare a state of emergency, and we're letting him know why we want a state of emergency, because we're in a state of urgency. Our request for a state of emergency does not involve bringing in the National Guard or some other military outfit. We need the state of emergency so he can act now. Mayor Jim Kenney, we want you to act now. We want to be partners with you to begin to transform those areas that Joanna Bell identified by zip codes, where there are high numbers of shootings, high numbers of killing. We want to partner with the city. We live here. We live in these communities. So we know how best to utilize those funds that are being thrown into Philadelphia County. We want you to listen. We want to partner with the mayor and city council. We know we can do this and do it better. You have the mothers, grandmothers, godmothers, aunts, sisters. You have a powerful force that's appealing to you. So we will strongly suggest that you bring us in, hear our strategic ideas, how best we can work together in a partnership, or else you're going to have to deal with the storm.
Gun violence has tragically been a regular occurrence in the city of Philadelphia, with over 10,000 people shot since 2015. Nearly 94% of these victims were black or brown, and 3/4 were black men. A 2019 report from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health identified homicide as the leading cause of death for black men ages 15 to 34, making gun violence a public health and racial equity issue in the city of Philadelphia. I'm reading this from a proposed declaration that they were asking the mayor to make. Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson and Councilwoman Jamie Gauthier.
Yes.
And so we're going to get that information out.
That's right. And Joe, you know, going forward to you and Rita, I hope we're able, and I think it would be most informative to the community, to bring in a triage doctor or two that deals with what happens when our children go into the triage or emergency room at these local hospitals? What happens? How are they mentally contending with that? I think that will be an important component to our ongoing work to share with the community. What happens when your young son, when your 1-year-old child goes into the emergency room at one of the local hospitals?
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. Rita, you want to sum up?
Well, I just want to thank all of our members of the steering committee who came together and came on the show today. What they had to say in their message was powerful. Everyone equally powerful in their message to the community. I just want to say in closing, women in our community who are hearing this broadcast, we need you tonight. We need you to come out and join forces for us to rise up and unite as one against the gun violence in our community, and to tell the administration and leadership that we will not take their complacency anymore, that we are demanding action on their part. So we will see all of those women, men, children come out, join together. We will see you at 6 o'clock on the north side of City Hall to make a change in this city tonight.
I want to thank Flora Pauly, who made the original call for us to come together.
Yes.
And I got a call from both Flora Pauly and Vanessa Brown. Of course, I got a call from Tracy Gordon, who was very upset about what happened to that young man. And so I want to leave us with this call. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
And we are fired up.
Yes.
And we're not going to take it anymore.
Nope.
And if you can't do what we need you to do, then we need to get rid of you.
All right now.
That's right.
That's right, Joe. That's right.
That's right.
That's the rising up. That's the rising up.
That's right. Right. Because you know what? No one person is more important than the collective.
That's right.
That's right.
And our collective is hurting. And we're not genuflecting to anybody who's a human like us, who told us that came to us for our vote in order to serve. And I don't give anybody a free pass. Not the mayor, not city council. No one gets a free pass. No elected, no appointed, nobody's anointed. We're tired. We'll see you tonight.
See you tonight.
Every part of me